have your buyer feel like they're in control of the engagement and they are in control of their decision-making process, whether it's making a purchase, downloading content, or just returning to your site again. Make it really easy. This kind of age-old saying that if you love something so much you want to use it, you don't feel sold.
It's time for CX education. Welcome to the podcast for enterprise CX professionals, the people who want to connect with customers on their own terms, before, during, and after a purchase is made. In each episode, you'll learn how to create experiences your customers love. Ready? Here we go.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of CX Education. I'm Heather Garand, and this episode is brought to you by Cinch, a platform that enables you to create experiences your customers love by connecting with your audience on their terms, where, when, and how they want. Today, our guest is Christy Marble, Chief Marketing Officer at Pantheon. Christy, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's jump right into it. How about to start, let's give the audience a little bit of background on yourself. Can you tell us about some of your personal experience?
Absolutely. My 20-plus year journey as a marketing executive has been quite an adventure. I've overseen successful digital MarTech and go-to-market transformations, product, e-commerce, partner launches, acquisitions, integrations, branding, market expansion, and multi-million-dollar brand portfolio growth. So I've had a lot of fun, worked with amazing people, and many of the moves that I've made have been a combination of kind of being at the right place at the right time and having a real keen focus on what's next in technology. And really early in my career, I had the opportunity to lead consumer marketing for student lender Sallie Mae and had an incredible opportunity. I learned so much to launch and grow its consumer brand from, we only had a couple of months to launch and had a real seasonality from really zero to over $1 billion portfolio. Also had the opportunity to introduce couponing, the concept of couponing in Germany while I was at a company called eSentence, which is an early internet type of company. And we were working with our client Reckitt Benckiser at the time. Also had the opportunity to work in SAP Concur when we were bringing the first SaaS business into China. So lots of fun things. And today I'm in my third CMO role with Pantheon, our website operations or WebOps platform. It's changing the way that organizations empower marketers and developers to create, iterate, scale, and deliver websites that bring extraordinary performances to consumers.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've had quite the career to date, which is fantastic. And I was going to ask you to talk to me a bit more about what your company is up to and how you are helping marketers today.
Well, Pantheon is leading a WebOps movement. It's a new way to produce high impact websites, and we're founded on a vision for a better way of managing these high impact websites with the purpose of bringing the magic of the internet to everyone, everywhere. Our modern WebOps platform gives teams the ability to develop, test, and release website changes faster and more reliably with tools that automate the maintenance updates that provide more security, enable people to collaborate functionally across all sorts of teams that bring both content, design, and experience and navigation and development to websites. And our focus is really on enabling those teams to deliver digital experiences that create value for their organization and produce extraordinary performance and results. So it's really exciting because we deliver to marketers, developers, and designers solutions that solve some of the biggest challenges that growth marketers face today, which is that ability to move really fast. You have campaigns and what is it, something like 12,000 elements of a MarTech stack that help you do everything you need to do really fast and test and learn. And previously web strategies have lagged. They've been slow and cumbersome. And one of the biggest challenges that marketers have faced is to be able to update their website at the pace that they need to be running their digital strategies. And that's something that we have changed. So marketers appreciate the agility to continuously test and learn and innovate content on their website, just like they do in their other digital strategies, and bring customer journeys to life that enable them to support these digital experiences and drive results. IT likes this as well because it gives them the peace of mind, the security that they don't have to be keeping the sites up or managing their hosting strategy when the campaigns are highly successful. When you get more traffic than you ever expected on your website, you want that just to run seamlessly and not to worry about it. And we bring that reliability, unlimited scalability, and uptime for our teams as well.
That's awesome. Yes, there's nothing more frustrating as the end consumer than to encounter a website that isn't running optimally, let's say. Okay, so this podcast is called CX Education, and let's jump right in here. A recent report co-authored by Hanover Research and Pantheon, Rules of the Marketing Game. What is the current state of play of the digital customer experiences?
Well, customers are really more and more discerning about when and how they want to interact with brands. They expect brands, the companies that they work with, to deliver the experiences they want when they want them and the way they want them. And they are constantly giving us signals as organizations to help us inform the strategies and to deliver to their expectations. And our research shows that the stakes are really high. In web time, one misstep, one slow down, one blip can cause a person to turn away in a fraction of a second, because you can always go flip over and search for someone else or go to the next search result if you're doing research or shopping for something. So in our survey, we asked more than 1,000 United States and United Kingdom consumers to share what they expect from their digital experiences. And the research found that 51% of consumers have stopped interacting with the brand due to a bad customer experience. And 17% have stopped interacting with the brand after a poor website experience. So think of things like unresponsive or slow loading, or you go on your mobile phone and you try to log into something and something pops up and you can't get to the site. Those are examples of things that will stop people in their tracks. People don't have a lot of time. And when they're on the web, they expect to have immediate gratification. So there's so much opportunity to read the signal that customers give us throughout a customer journey. And marketers who meet customers where they are, who remove friction and remain attentive to customer needs, will inspire the confidence and deliver the value and build the trust with consumers that will create that loyalty and I mean that they will choose you. 73% of survey responders, for instance, said that trust is their biggest motivator to share first-party data. Well, that's super important now as we approach this cookieless digital world. And all this means that marketers really need to think about the online experiences they're providing, because getting it wrong can be detrimental to long-term success. 90% of consumers said that they've had a negative digital experience, which has eroded their trust. So yes, this is not insignificant. That is a huge number of consumers that have experienced that and made different choices. But on the bright side, 81% say that they're willing to grant a second chance. So there is that opportunity to be constantly testing and learning and acting on your learning.
Wow. Those are some pretty big and compelling numbers for sure. For sure. Okay, let's talk about the greatest buzzword that we're hearing from all marketers today. Let's talk about personalized experience.
That is a big buzzword. You are right. In fact, it's been a big buzzword for, the last 10 years or so. And people have been trying different things. And the good news is today, it's not so much a buzzword. It actually is reality, especially in the world of people's websites. Whether brands would outwardly say that they're actively creating personalized experiences or not, pretty much every company out there has some kind of personalized experience in their website. And let me give you an example. at minimum, every company out there has employees and they have customers or consumers. And so by nature, that means they have two audiences coming to their website and they need to deliver a distinctly different experience. And likely they do, whether they're even thinking about it this way. But they're delivering a different experience for people who come to their website, either their own employees or people who are looking for jobs. Those people will be routed and end up on their career pages. They'll want to learn about the company. They'll want to learn about the leadership, about the culture. They'll want to look for jobs. That is typically a very different experience on people's website than the experience that is delivered for their customers or their prospective customers. So every company out there is doing something, and many also have investors. They're public companies. And so those are different experiences. You're not sending those people to your pricing page. So that's one example of personalization that is very, very common and requires marketers and site owners, and often different people owning, for instance, the career and about us section than the people that are owning the customer sections of your website, or the people that are owning the prospecting, the content that you deliver to attract new customers to your company. So when we look back at where personalization started, marketers were really learning how to deliver journey for different journeys for different people to meet their needs where they need to be met and deliver them the specific information they need at the right time and quickly. And so it's become more sophisticated now based on where people are coming from. We can deliver them right, not maybe to our homepage, but right to the right entry spot in our website and through the journey that is going to be right for them. So for instance, if they search pricing for your product, you probably want to route them right into your pricing journey and get them that information as quickly as possible, and maybe serve up an experience that allows them to ask a question via conversational tool right on the website. This type of personalization now is so much more sophisticated that you can, in fractions of seconds, deliver people the experience that they're looking for.
Thanks. Okay, and now if we double click on this from a customer perspective, what did customers consider personalization in this survey?
Sure. So 36. Well, let me give you a couple of nuggets here, because our research showed that personalization can still be a little polarizing. 64% of consumers say that they either prefer generic communication or that they just are indifferent to it. That means about a third of consumers actually want personalization. So you got about 2/3 that are like, generic suits me fine. And then about a third are saying, yeah, I want it. So when it's done right, personalization can really be a huge consumer experience differentiator that people actually prefer. And there's companies I can think of. For instance, Wayfair is one of my favorites. They provide furniture and household goods. And for instance, we were talking earlier about knobs for our kitchens. So you can go into Wayfair, you can shop for something, and they remember that, especially if you're a member. You could actually put it in your cart, and chances are in a couple of days, you'll receive items like it that are for sale or reminders about that. That actually works really well personally for me. I like that personalization. I prefer to go to Wayfair because they're delivering me this value, which is the thing that I'm thinking I want. They're making it more and more attractive to me to shop for it there. So personalization. So what does that mean? That means personalization is showing consumers content or products or an experience that is specific to their interests based on the signals that they're giving you, the data that you have about them. And so this 36% of respondents that said that they prefer personalization, 61% of those said that they prefer it because it saves them time. So that means they only see what's relevant to them. You're not sending your career people to your pricing page, for instance. You're getting them to the right place where they want to be as quickly as possible. 40% said that they prefer personalization because they like to have forms and checkout experiences pre-populated for them. They don't want to have to keep entering their address every time they go into a form. So that improves the convenience and the customer experience in multiple environments for them. So those are the types of signals and choices they're making that give us permission to
Got it.
deliver the types of personalization that these specific consumers want. Others won't give us that permission. They won't choose that. That information won't be there. And so we shouldn't try to do that. We should treat them like that set that are saying, no, I actually prefer a more generic experience. I want to enter my information myself. There's other companies that do. I'm quite familiar with Concur. They are a business travel and expense company. They aspire to deliver the perfect trip for business travelers. When you think of the perfect trip, you think of maybe a vacation, but imagine a company that's really inspired to deliver that also for business travelers. And so everything they do is designed to make it easier and more convenient for employees of companies to actually comply with their travel and expense policies. It's actually easier to use the system that your company is asking you to use to book your travel and to manage your business travel experience than it is to do other things. So that's a fantastic example of a B2B company that is really focused on delivering a seamless customer experience in their product.
I have plenty of experience with Concur, and I agree. It makes it like so super simple, showing options for flights and hotels, and you don't really have to think or worry or do your own searches. Okay, so let's flip it the other way now. What are the most common CX mistakes that you see affecting brands today?
Yeah, the things that really cause challenges for brands are things that make things rigid or that feel like one size fits all strategy. So if you're not constantly in this mode of finding ways to remove friction from the customer experience, then you're going to quickly alienate your audience. When brands aren't investing that time and energy to get out ahead of the friction, that's when they miss the mark. So there isn't right now with the signals that are available with the digital, we talked about the 12,000 items in the tech stack, according to Scott Brinker. There isn't an excuse to be focused on removing that friction. So think about privacy banners that pop up on websites when you visit them. Works fine if it's designed, right? It's designed, you visit the website and the privacy banner pops up and you're on your big screen, your big monitor behind the glass. That might be fine. You click your button and close it. But what about when you visit that site when you're sitting on the plane waiting for your flight to take off and it's blocking your whole mobile phone window and you can't even get to the place to close it out? That isn't right. That isn't a good experience. So tracking that, constant testing of the experience from that consumer experience and improving it is something really important for people to be doing in the digital world.
Thanks for that. Yeah, nothing. I just experienced that. I was on a plane and on my phone trying to do some check-in, and it wasn't optimized, and it was an absolute nightmare. Nightmare. Okay. Now, how does a good CX affect a customer's journey and lead to better or more consistent performance as a brand?
Well, it's all about trust. We need to, as marketers, examine the digital experiences that we provide our consumers at every stage. You'll see all sorts of marketing teams that are doing. In fact, I just reviewed some with our digital design experience team who are fabulous. And it's about looking at each stage and asking, is this thing, this action we're taking, this route we're taking people through, is it building or is it breaking someone's trust in us? Is it delivering value to them? Each step marketers talk about moments that matter. Each step in our customer experience is an opportunity to provide an answer to a question that people aren't expecting, but to do it in a way that we're not interfering, right? That it's not an interstitial that's popping up and causing an abrupt halt that we have to push through, but instead that is giving us this surprise and delight moment that is the ultimate, binder for loyalty for people. So if you want to create that trust, what do? You need to have your buyer feel like they're in control. of the engagement. And they are in control of their decision-making process, whether it's making a purchase, downloading content, or just returning to your site again. Make it really easy. This kind of age-old saying that if you love an experience, if you love something so much you want to use it, you don't feel sold, right? You don't feel like the Concur example. I don't feel like someone's trying to force me to comply. They've actually made it more convenient for me to manage every aspect of my business travel. And because of that, I actually want to be in compliance. I don't even think that it's a thing about compliance. It's actually about making my experience better on a day-to-day basis. And that's what good customer experience is all about. It's about delivering that value. When you deliver that value, you build loyalty, you build trust, customers return to your brand, they tell their friends and colleagues about you, and now you have advocates and evangelists for your branding, your experience.
Which is the penultimate for every brand, 100%.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it looks like we're coming up onto our time, and I wanted to close with a question and a little game. So question first, what's your favorite resource, could be online or offline, that you rely on to keep up with customer experience?
I do a lot of research. I search a lot, Google and things like that. And one resource that I found that I come back to, I find myself come back to repeatedly because there's just lots of great tips and lots of people interviewed. It's Destination CRM by CRM Magazine. And they have some great nuggets there.
I am going to check that out. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to play a game of this or that. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things here. I'm going to random fire at you and you say the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Paper book or ebook?
Paper.
Okay. Shopping in-store or online?
Online.
Text or call?
Text.
Streaming or live TV?
Streaming.
Burgers or tacos?
Oh, that one's harder. How about tacos? Fish tacos.
Ooh, I love fish tacos. Self-checkout or cashier?
Self-checkout.
Okay. Crosswords or word search?
Oh, I'm gonna go off the grid and say Sudoku.
Oh, good one. So what I want to do with all this information is, because I asked this to everyone, I'm going to compile it and I'll release it one day. It's interesting which direction everyone goes in. Okay, so before we leave today, can you please tell our listeners where they can find more information about the rules of the marketing game?
Sure. Thanks for asking. The easiest way is to Google Pantheon rules of the marketing game. So just go into Google, search for Pantheon rules of the marketing game, and you'll see your results. You can also search for it on our website at pantheon.io. And I can give you the URL, but it's a little long, but you can do that as well, which is pantheon.io/Pantheon-rules-marketing-game-guide. There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. I truly appreciate you taking the time with me today and for sharing so much great information with us and our listeners. And I hope that you had a fun experience on CX Education as well.
I did. This was fabulous, Heather. Thank you so much for inviting me.
That's it for this episode of CX Education. Thanks for joining us. This show is brought to you by Cinch, the technology company that helps you create mobile experiences your customers love. Did you enjoy the episode? Then make sure to subscribe to CX Education wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or visit cinch.com/podcast to get instant access to all the latest episodes.